Nope, you should sing our intro song. Go for it.
Dun 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 dun. No idea how to go.
Okay, so welcome to the Pursuing the Challenge on the Trail Rhett and Link style PCT statistics question game. That's a long title. Okay, so first off, you guys can introduce yourselves. Who are you?
I'm Jerica.
Jakota.
So robotic. Okay, before I explain how the game will work, I was just going to say that all the information for this game is based off of just one single article we found on a website called Halfway Anywhere, and it's based off of 2019 thru hiker statistics. So I'll link the article in the description, and yeah, if you don't agree with the information or the answers to the questions, we're just basing it off of one survey, so they could be wrong, but the game is based off of just one survey. Okay, and so the game, I was going to make you guys explain it, but I don't know if you guys really know what it is. I'm going to ask you PCT related questions and you have to answer.
Okay.
I think that's about it.
Give it a go.
Yeah. So for this game, we're very much ripping off Rhett and Link and stealing stuff from their show. I'll ask you questions, you'll answer. Some are multiple choice, some aren't. I can keep score. Whoever loses has to take a bite out of an unpeeled banana because we thought it would be funny. Yeah, so we can jump into the questions.
Okay.
Okay, so the first question is, which gender, male or female, were the majority of hikers? And give a guess at the percentage as well, if that makes sense.
So this is overall. Completed, dropped out.
This is
Okay.
also 2019, not 2020.
Yeah, but I imagine it stays consistent more,
Oh yeah, well, I know.
similar year to year.
During the
Is there going to be a 3, 2, 1, or do we just say...
Oh, what do you guys want?
I mean, we'll take turns going first. I guess you can answer this one first, I'll answer
Okay.
the next one first. No stealing the other person's answer.
What?
I mean, you can't change your answer based off of somebody else's answer.
But if I was going to answer one and you answered it, I can still answer it.
Yes,
Okay.
we're going on the honor system
Okay.
on that.
So, what's your answer,
So,
Jerica?
statistically, I think more guys do it, and I think the percentage is going to be like 60-40. 60% guys.
Well, I mean, I halfway want to say guys as well, but during the trail, I remember I thought, at least in the beginning, we came across a lot more female hikers, it seemed. But then again, now when I think back through all the hikers that I remember meeting, 90% of them were male. But I still think I'm going to say females hike it more women than men. But I think it's a much narrower margin than Jack. I'm going to say, I don't know, 53% women, 47% men.
And so Jerica said male, right?
Yep.
What is your percentage? I forget.
60% men, 40% women.
Okay. I mean, so it is more men than women. So
Yeah.
Jerica got his point for that one. And it's 59.4% male. So that's pretty close.
I was so close.
I don't know if my camera's level. I guess it is. Anyway, yep. So Jerica got that one. Okay.
I just think more men would be comfortable hiking alone than women.
Yeah, I mean...
And when we were trying to do that day when we were sitting there and we were deciding if men wear pants or shorts or if there's a gender difference, a lot more men walked by than women.
I'm just gonna
And then, yeah, thinking
change
back
this
to the
slightly.
people we met.
Because I don't think it's that level. I think that's
And also a
better.
10% difference just sounds high.
And that should be better. Okay. The next question is, what age group? So which age group had the most hikers?
Darn it.
And the age groups are 20 through 24,
Oh.
25 through 29, 30 through 34, and then 35 through 40. So like 5-year gaps from 20
Okay.
to 40. Which age group had the majority of hikers?
Okay, this time you get to go first.
Yeah, so again, I thought I'd read somewhere else or heard somewhere that it's actually, the biggest groups are like just out of college and already retired. So we obviously don't have the already retired group, so that's an easy cut. However, once again, thinking back to the people I met on trail, lots of them almost seemed older. But I still think I'm going to say more fresh out of college. So like, I guess the 20 to 24. Although I maybe should have said 25 to 29.
Okay.
Fine, I'm switching to the... No, I'm saying fresh out of college. I'm fresh out of college. 20, 24.
I was going to say the 25 to 30 or 24 to 30, whichever one it is, because I do think the majority were young, but I don't think most of the people right out of college have enough money. I think it takes them a few years to get the money to do it. So,
25 to
second
30?
one, 25 to 30.
And you said 20 to 25?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jack is probably right.
So yeah, the correct answer is 25 through 29.
There you go.
Which Jerica's not in, right? You're not
No,
in
No.
Jack is like 64 or
Oh,
something.
yeah. I'm in the retirement category. Just looking
But
good.
the number of people who we met who thought Jerica was in that category or younger was surprisingly high.
Yeah. And so this was just a bonus question, so you don't have to like spend time, like you can answer at the same time or whatever. Which age group do you think had more hikers? That 25 through 30 group that had the most, or 40 plus? So like
Oh, 40
anything
plus.
over 40.
40 plus.
Possibly 40 plus. It's getting popular with the
Yeah.
retirement.
Old
So in
folks do.
2019, 25 to 30 was 30%, and 40 plus was 25.26%.
So
not quite.
Again. I'm
But-
failing at this.
Okay. The next question is about race. So white people are by far the biggest demographic that does PCT, with 92% of hikers being white. But what was the second most common race for thru hikers? And so then the options I gave you was Asian, Hispanic / Latino, or Native American. Which one of those was the next most common?
This one should be easy.
Hispanic /
Really?
Latino. Yeah.
I'm going Asian. I mean, there's a lot of them. They've got to come over here sometime, so Asian.
But did you meet a single... Oh,
I don't know, but I mean, they've got to, I mean, bound to have some Asians that want to visit the U.S. and some that know about the long hikes, and since there's so many of them, that sum has to be fairly large.
it's a lot less of a travel, and we have more Latinos here.
I'm going
I mean, I
Asian.
think you could be right, because I know there are Asians who've done it. But
Yeah.
I still think
The
sticking with mine.
correct answer is Asian.
Okay.
Asian with 2.4%. And then, other than Asian, the most common answer was 2 or more races. It was also 2.4%.
Okay.
And Native American and Hispanic and Latino were both, I think, under 1%. It was really low. And so now we have education level. Which one of these education levels were the majority of hikers? So did the majority of hikers have no college, an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, or a master's degree?
I answering first on this one? Yeah, I'm answering first. I'm going to say bachelor's. I think most of them are college educated, but not super educated.
See, several of the people we talked to did have, or from their job, it sounded like they had it. They were good at partying too. That might lead towards college. But several of them also had minimum wage, common jobs.
But I mean, you can go
But
to
then how
college and
could
get a
they-
bachelor's in English and still work in fast food, so.
I know. I really don't think any of them had higher than a bachelor's. So it's, I guess just to be different, I'm going to say no degree.
Okay, so the correct answer is bachelor's degree, and 48.9% had a bachelor's degree. So that's quite a few. Let me change my ongoing score. Okay. Yeah, so, and then if you were interested, 48.9% had bachelor's, 20% had master's, 12%, or 12.8 had some college but no degree. And there's some other random ones, like postgraduate and other categories.
Huh. I'm
But-
surprised there's not a lot more without degrees.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
that's a surprising number of masters.
So this is the question where we're going to use our gun and map. And so I'll ask the question first. So parts of the world. Most people who hike the PCT come from the United States or Canada. But after those two countries, which had the most people hike in 2019? And your options are Germany, the UK, Australia, and Japan. And so let me grab a second camera. Do one of you guys have the gun, or do I have the gun? I have the gun. Okay.
So, who's answering?
So they're going to use this airsoft gun to shoot at a target that's over here. I'll get out my phone to video the target.
Looks so small.
So they're over there. They don't have to shoot very far. It's just over to here.
Which one are you aiming?
And yes, Europe is very small, so between the UK and Germany, kind of they
I'm
can.
not sure it's called
Yeah, and I think safety's on too. And so I guess Eric is going to go first.
No,
That might be
good.
a false safety.
So yeah, you can talk about what you want to shoot or whatever, or shoot, or so
Okay.
kind of middle of Europe, edge of Europe, Japan, or Australia.
Based off of that, there's a lot of Asians who hike it. I think Japan might be the right answer. Because I don't trust my aim, I'm going to try to shoot between Europe and Asia.
Between Europe and Asia?
That way-
Europe and Asia touch.
But between the words Europe and Asia.
Okay.
That way, if I miss towards, like, Germany and the
Okay.
UK. Or
Like,
if I'm wrong, I'll be
Japan
closer
is
to
on
them.
the far side over there, but yeah.
No.
Okay.
Whoa, am I low?
Okay. So, the Asian was one of the big groups, but that is after Caucasians. UK and
Oh.
Germans would be Caucasians, so it's between who hikes more, Germans or British. I think it's going to be Germany, and I'm actually going to aim for my target. Hopefully.
I mean, if I drew a straight line up, I would have been really close to.
The gun shoots
So,
slow.
Jakota hit middle of Africa, Derek hit below Africa. Yeah, I thought you remembered those guns. Those
If it's
guns do shoot low.
Australia, I win. Probably. If it's any of the
Yeah.
others, I probably lose.
So, I don't know. I mean, last time I had one of these, it seemed to shoot straight. This one seems to shoot low, but maybe it's because it's so close. But
Yeah, it's so close. Your phone is still recording, right?
I believe so. I can
Okay.
double check.
So, yeah, I mean, I was also going to go on the answers and shooting was for fun. But yeah, Germany was the correct answer. And
So you
Dakota
won
was
either
closer
way.
to Germany. So, I'll write down
Because the
Dakota's
British
point.
don't
Quick.
hike. And if
British
they do,
hike,
they
I
hike in
think.
Scotland.
So that was the other thing that I had written down. Is so, those were it was Germany was the most common, then the UK, then Australia, and then Japan. I just made up trying to trick people
Oh.
into going for Asia, and it worked. But so the UK is the next most common. Okay, and so now, okay, this is a weird question. So out of the states, people from different states who hike, the top 3 states that PCT hikers come from are California, Washington, and Oregon. So those three states, which the trail runs through, are the most common states for hikers to come from. What percentage of hikers did you think came from just those 3 states?
Probably
Oh,
not half, but probably. But I have to go first. I'm gonna say 40%, which seems a little high.
Interesting.
I should have gone like 35.
So I was thinking it was really high because everyone we met this year pretty much came from
But
those
it's
3.
COVID
But
year.
COVID, so people wouldn't have wanted to travel. People who live in those states could have talked themselves into going.
I'm dropping mine down to 35.
Really?
40 was too much. 35.
And so, by the way, we're not
I'm-
doing it where if you go over, you don't get points. It's whoever's closest. So if you go over, that's fine.
Yeah.
Going to say 45%.
You're just
And
There's a
trying
lot
to
of
hog all the
Californians.
numbers.
And Dakota's locked in at 35%.
Yeah, but I mean, statistically now, you'll be
I'm
closer to every
closer.
number higher
Here.
as well as some lower. So you just hogged like 70%. 60, 70.
So the answer was 42.6%.
I should have stuck with the
So
40.
Dakota was really close and then changed his mind. So Jerica got that point, which does mean you guys are tied at 3-3, by the way.
Okay.
Wow,
40.6. Okay, so the survey asked people the question, did you train before the PCT? Do you think more people said yes or no? And you can take a guess at the actual percentages too if you want.
Okay, I think I got my answer, but you're answering first.
Yeah, I wanted the honesty on this and train.
Well, I mean, do
Sure,
they think what
I
they
went
did
on a
counts as
hike,
training?
so I trained. I know.
So I don't think it's so much as should what they did be qualified
But
as
as
training,
training,
as
it's
what they did do they
Qualify it as training, right? But I still think the majority would say they did.
Oh, really?
But how much of the majority? I think, I'm going to say the majority said they trained. I guess at the percent, it's probably not super high, like 55.
Well, I'm going to say the majority did not train, and I think it's a clear majority. I want to say like 70%, but I'll go 65 and split the difference. 65 did not train.
So Dakota was close on percentage, but for the wrong one.
What?
63% said they did train.
But
So Jerica would get that one.
I mean,
Because people are going to go on an extra walk or go on a
Yeah.
hike and test their gear and say
but
they
how
trained.
many stories do you hear of like I'd never backpacked before and I decided the Appalachian Trail. I'd never
Few.
walked outside and I
But
decided
people
to
are going to know they're going to go on it, so they're going to train, even if their training is
No,
really
and then
minor.
even the people that are going to train, half of them are not actually going to, and they'll have to admit that to themselves. And then another person is going to be like, well, yeah, I just decided I was going to do this, so I quit my job, I just got out of college and decided to do it. No training.
Way more people, I think, are planning it in advance than you think.
So,
No.
Some
just
people
because
for
you guys are
years.
talking about that, this is a question that I decided not to put in because I didn't think it was that interesting. Now you guys are talking about it, which is what was the. So they asked people on a scale of 1 to 10 what was their backpacking experience before doing the PCT. What do you think the average experience was?
1 to 10, I'm putting it at, well, since I thought there was low, I'm going to leave it at low and say 4.
Oh,
Well, I'm assuming
okay.
10 being a lot of experience.
yeah. I do
Yeah.
think it's going to be below 5. I think most of them are going to have limited experience, so yeah.
So it was.
3.
The answer was 5.6, but there was a
Oh.
lot of people who said like 1 and 2. I think 3 actually looks like one of the most common answers to me. So just because how averages work, it's skewed up a bit, but yeah. I didn't actually include that in the.
So, would
Questions,
you
though.
say that we trained for the trip?
See,
Because I did not train for the trip.
I would say I sort of
Well-
did. See,
I mean, I did a light jogging before the trip, but I mean, I don't know if I count that as
I mean, I was walking Willow every day, but then I tried to do things like stop taking the curvy road and start going straight up and down the ravines. I thought about running. I don't know if I actually ever did run, but I thought about it. And then I tried to go longer rather than doing, like on the weekends, rather than doing 2 5-mile hike walks, I tried to do like an 8, a 7 or an 8, and then just a 3 or a short one. And it was partly for me and partly for Willow. So, I mean, I'd say yes, because I changed how I did things.
I still think most people don't.
Okay, one thing I'm going to do really quick is normally the cameras stop at like 30 minutes or so of video, so I'm just going to stop it and restart it. You want to do the same with your recorder. Okay, so now we have a financial question. For you guys' through hike, you spent more than the average. Obviously,
Right.
that's because you had support vehicles and things. But what did the average person spend on the entire PCT? And so we have A, which is 6 through 7,000, or 7 through 8,000, 8 to 9,000, 9 to 10,000, or over 10,000. And you can have a bonus point if you can guess the correct 1,000 range, plus get within like $100 or so of that specific answer.
Okay, and I believe I'm answering first on this one.
Okay.
My initial answer was going to be 5,000, and that's already bottomed out this thing. So, I don't know. I still feel like. Oh, also, if someone's like, what else included? Is it just when they're on the trip, or is it when they're
It
acquiring
means
their gear?
Gear as well.
Yeah. Is that
Okay,
overall,
because
so
I know
everything-
lots of people seem to really go for those like super expensive tents where they'll like, dump 1,000 just on a tent, which is wow. So I guess maybe I'll up it a little bit, and I'll say it's 7,000 to 8,000, and I'll say it's $7,432. 18 cents.
You just had to guess the range, but okay.
Well, he said we get bonus questions.
Yeah, they
Oh,
can
bonus
you,
So I'm
points
saying
for
7
being-
to 8.
if you
Okay.
get within
7,432,
$100, you can have a bonus point.
7-4, got it.
So you can get
32.18.
I'm not gonna remember that. So I actually researched this question probably way more than Jakota prior to the trip, and a lot of places said you should just have $10,000 because then you're not likely to have to come off the trail due to money, and then others said whatever you need for gear and prep and travel, and then plan $1,000 a month that you're on the trail. And most people take close to 6 months, so that's 6,000 even without any gear or travel. I think I'm gonna go high. I don't know if I want to go. I'm gonna go the 9 to 10.
Wow.
No,
Wait.
okay.
I would have got 8, 9.
Do you want to go a specific number in there too?
9,250.
Okay. So the correct answer according to the survey was $6,561. So then the question is, technically you guys were both wrong. Should we give the one who was closer to the point, or no one a
Sure.
point?
I'd assume closer would get the point.
Okay, so I'll just go to have that one. Just press 8. But you are tied again at 4 points. And so now, okay, now the next question is, how much did the average person spend on just buying gear before they started the trip? And so 0 to 500, 500 to 1,000, 1,000 to 1,500, 1,500 to 2,000 is the range.
You're up first.
This one's hard because it really depends on how much gear you already had and how expensive you're willing to go. But then people spent way less than I thought they did overall. So I'm going to say 500 to 1,000.
Really? Because I was debating if I wanted 1,000 to 15 or 15 to 2. And I mean, assuming they drop, say, 600 to 800 on a tent and another like 300 on the backpack, that's 1,100. That leaves them 400 wiggle room. Of course, if they bought a fancy puffy, that's already hopping it up. So I kind of feel like I should do over 1,500. But
You went with 5 to 1,000?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think mathematically it seems like it should be 15 to 2,000, but I think I'm going to say they are more budget friendly than I think and go 1,000 to 1,500.
Okay, so the exact number was 1,477.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
either of those answers could have went with, you would have been closer than Jerica. Let me switch back and check it.
So they're spending more on gear than I thought, but less on their overall trips.
Yep. Okay, so yeah, it's on the survey. They asked the question: did you obtain a PCTA permit prior to your hike? What percentage of hikers do you think said yes, and what percentage said no?
Okay, now I'm up first, aren't I? Darn it. Okay, half I want to think people bother with it, but then again, people don't like doing anything they're told to do. I guess I'm going to say 70% get the permit, 30% don't. So more do than don't, and it's 70-30.
I think way more do than don't. I
Okay.
think, given how many permits are given out, and then there are areas that are hard to get into or hard to get other permits, so while there's still people out there saying it's unnecessary, and if you don't get one, hike anyway, I think the majority at least try for a permit. I'm going to say 80% get
Yeah,
permits.
More faith in humanity than that.
So what is your answer again, Dakota?
He said
70-30.
Okay.
Just as 80-20.
So the survey said 100% said yes.
There you go.
But do we
Okay.
actually?
I think 100% said they did. But I guess, Jerica gets that point.
Okay, so Derek at that point. And so then the next question is, the survey asked, what's the actual question? What percent said they started on the PCT permit's printed start date?
Oh.
So how many actually started when they were supposed to?
Well, again,
So
said
this
versus actually
we
doing.
did.
So if they all
Yeah.
have the permits, who actually started on time?
I mean, I think the majority of people probably do. Like, they pick the date, they plan on it, they have no reason not to. It invalidates your permit if you don't, supposedly, although obviously it's going to be really hard to prove whether or not someone started on it or not. This year there was a lot of people not, but that was due to COVID. Them
Well, we
waiting
don't
for...
know if it's COVID.
No, a lot of them said
I think a
they
lot of them
decided
said
not
they
to,
didn't.
and then when it wasn't didn't seem like such a big deal, they changed their minds, or they waited for things to calm down and then came out, or tried to jump ahead. So I still think the majority do. And I think even more will say they did than actually do. So I'm going to say 90% will say they started on the date their permit says.
Well, I was actually also going to go with the 90%, but I'm going to change
I mean,
it up.
you could both get the same points or whatever, but
No, I should change it up. I'll go say higher.
Okay.
I'll say 93%.
okay. So the survey said 81.1%. So
Okay. So
didn't
the
work
rule
out for
following
Dakota.
permit getters aren't all starting on their date.
That was okay.
Odd that more people are willing to be honest about that than
Getting a permit in the first place, because if you don't start on the permit's date, your permit is supposedly not valid.
Yep.
So you get a permit and then
invalidated and are willing to admit that.
Okay, so the overall length of a PCT through hike, well, the average overall length of a PCT through hike is 152 days. So you guys did beat the average by quite a few days. But when looking at the average number of days for a northbound through hike versus a southbound through hike, there was a surprising 26-day difference in the average times it took. So almost 4 whole weeks difference, whether you're going north or south. Which direction, northbound or southbound, do you guys think had the shorter average time?
think we're gonna answer the same on this.
Well, I'm actually really fighting this because I think we decided that going northbound is easier than southbound. I thought we decided. And the only thing then, though, is does that mean the more ambitious, the stronger, the fitter are going south? Thus, maybe they'll do it faster.
Oh.
Also, maybe they'll encounter, like we did, somehow actually snow works out maybe better for them. Because, maybe if they start late enough, Washington, Oregon is fairly clear. But then the Sierras basically are going to have snow, right? But then again, maybe the desert will be easier, and the South generally struggle with the Sierras too. So, going southbound maybe could be faster. I don't know. Just for the fun of it, I'm going to say the southbounders are faster. This will give us
Jerica, what are you going to say?
I'm gonna say southbound is slower. Yeah, going northbound is faster. I think that we think it's easier, and I think that knowing you have to beat the snow motivates you. When you hit Oregon, Washington, you're like, I have to beat the snow. I have to finish by this date. Well, if you're going southbound, you're all just like, I can hike till December. I can take as long as I want.
No, because Sierras, you gotta get to the Sierras to snow. And you also gotta remember, technically, the north terminus is at a higher elevation than the... So you're losing more elevation instead of gaining more elevation.
But
not
I still
much,
think
but-
there's not the pressure. I still think they have just as good a chance of hitting snow in the Sierras and San Jacinto because they're so late.
But then maybe the desert in Washington, Oregon is easier.
Nope.
Yep.
I'm sticking with it.
Okay. So, southbound had an average of 129 days, and northbound's average was 155 days. So southbound is the
Weird.
correct answer. And it was, a shocking amount shorter.
The ambitious people, that's what it is. The strong, the ambitious, the go-getters.
Yeah.
But that's not what we encountered.
But yeah. Okay. So you guys had, I think, a total of 4 0 days. But the average number... Oh yeah, but so what is the average number of 0 days? Well, this question is really weird. Okay, so I guess I didn't give you options. I just said you can get a point if you give me a correct day range that spans like 5 days or so. So you can say like 13 to 18 days or even numbers, whatever. So yeah, what do you think is the average number of 0 days within a 5-day range?
Who's first?
I think you're up first, and I already have my answer.
I have an answer, but I want to mathematically work it out. If most people take 150 days, and they're probably going to town. I was gonna say they're going to town every 4 to 5 days, right? And then they're probably gonna zero almost every time they go to town. And sometimes they're gonna have 2 or 3 zeros. So even if they zeroed every 5 days, that's a lot of zeros.
Yeah, because that's like 30 zeros or something.
Well, I was gonna say like 17 to 22, but now I'm thinking I might need to go like higher. I'm gonna say 18 to 23.
Interesting. So
I
I
think
was
it's right around.
the range I wanted to say was like 12 to 20, but that's too big. So I think I'm just gonna say 15 to 20. Of course, now if it's like 18 or 19, I don't know. You did say that.
I'd say, so the answer is 18.2.
Ooh.
And I feel like Jerica's answer included 18, but so did Jakota's. So I mean,
But mine was 18 going up.
what
But
I
we
did-
can both
okay.
get a point if we
So
want.
what we
'cause
can
both
do,
knew
we can do
it
this
was-
as a tiebreaker because it is included as a bonus thing in here. So 18.2 is the average 0 days, but then how many near 0 or Nero days do people have?
I mean,
You
again,
guys can try the same thing with
this
that.
somewhat comes down to what do people consider a Nero, but of course, I guess that's not so much relevant as just what do people report as their Neros, which...
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think they take as many Neros. But they could take more because they could take one coming into town and then one leaving town.
Yeah.
So if they had 18 zeros, they could have 30 some Neros. But I think a lot of people do long days and really push hard to get into town. So I'm going to say like 10 to 15 or around 10. I think they have
Okay.
less Neros.
Okay, well, I guess I'm just going to give my same answer. 15 to 20. I think that's roughly equal.
So again, the answer is 15, as you both said. So I'll just give you both the point.
Okay.
Put that in. But you are still tied. You were tied at 6, and I both got a point, tied at 7.
So if we end
yeah.
tied, do we both have to eat the banana?
Sure. Okay. This should be an easier one, I think. What was the average daily miles that people hiked?
Oh, man.
Darn it. And, snap, am I going first now?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, 20 sounds like a good number to throw out there, but it seems like by the end people have to be getting up to like 25. But it seems like some people are so slow on getting up to even the 20 that maybe I should go like 18 or something.
Right. And then it is average. So I'm thinking they're Neros in their beginning days, but I mean they're not doing their zeros like we were, so not overall, I'm sure.
Yeah, and then if it's like overall average of everyone, then some of the fast hackers might pull up some of the slower numbers.
Yeah.
It's like so
Because
I don't know. I
mean,
guess I am going to say 19 miles. I'll say 19 miles.
I'm gonna say 22 because I think there's enough really fast hikers to pull up the slow people.
So the answer was 20.2. So I think 19 is closer than 22.
Yeah.
So
I was tempted to say with
that.
20, but it just sounded too. Yes, I don't know, perfect.
Yeah. And so the next question is, what is the average highest mileage day?
Oh, but average high. So some people really do would jump it up there.
Well, I think most people try to do 30s, or at least try a 30 when they hit Oregon, and that's even some of the slower people. And we know the fastest guy was pulling multiple 40s this year. So I'm going to say, since even the slow hikers try for a 30, and we know people get in the 40s, I'm going to say 34.
I was.
But, now I'm second guessing because our longest day
It's short.
didn't hit that.
Well, I mean, wait, didn't we technically say like 32, 33, so we were close?
Okay. Yeah, not PCT miles, but we did do...
We more or less weren't really even trying.
Yeah, we tried
days.
one, decided we didn't like it, and quit trying.
So, I was halfway going to say 35, but now I'm torn between 33 and 35. 35 just sounds, I don't know, like
Nice round number.
Yeah, it's a nice round number, and technically I'm stacking the odds in my favor because then anything higher than 35 is mine.
35.
Which
40.
sounds a little cheaty. So I don't know. I might say people are... Well, no, people are fast. It's fine. I'm going to say 35. I think people are faster than slower. 33 is tempting, but 35 it is.
You said 33? What did you say?
She said 34.
34.
I said
35.
Super close.
So, I mean, the answer was 40.8 miles.
Wow.
So, there are some fast people pulling the slow ones average up. Or people pulling really long days. Just like one, random.
Yeah, but
So,
like, what is that?
I guess we can give Jakota a point
Soho
for that.
or wrong way? Or which one did like a 46?
Yeah. Thought he was going to suddenly go for a 50 out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so for viewers who may not know, the PCT goes near Mount Whitney, which is the tallest peak in the lower 48 states. You can do an optional side trail and summit Mount Whitney. And so the survey asked... for people who didn't know, it's an option. You can either summit it easily as a side trail, or you can just skip it and save yourself a day or two in the hike. The survey asked, did you summit Mount Whitney? What percentage said yes, and what percentage said no?
Okay, and I'm going first on this one. I think more people probably go for it than don't. I mean, why would you do the hiking? But of course, maybe if they already did climb it like we did.
Right.
So if lots of them already came from California, Oregon, Washington, then maybe those are the people that actually already climbed it too and just wanted to skip it. Okay, so I'm going to say more people climb it than not, but it might actually be closer to 50-50 than I think, so I think I'm going to say 60-40. 60 climb it, 40 don't.
Wow. I think it's going to be even closer.
Wow.
Because I think a certain percentage have already climbed it. I think a certain percentage are afraid to climb it or don't want to put out the effort, because when we were sitting at Canyon Meadows South, there were those who were being talked into doing it.
Yep,
and then I think those who go early might decide the snow is, really discouraging, really tiring, or too much to make it. So I think there's going to be at least 3 reasons why people don't do it. So I'm going to say, I almost want to say the minority, but really close. Like 49-51, but which one do I think? But it's such an opportunity.
I said 60 do it, 40 don't.
I'm going to say 51 do it, 49 don't, and then it's really close.
Wow.
So 44.11% do, 55.89% don't. So
Jerica
who was closer, Jerica,
I was
right?
closer, but
Okay.
we were both wrong on that. Huh.
Let's see.
We were in the majority then.
But now I also want to know about like detours to San Jacinto, detours to.
I didn't ask about like Crater
Crater.
Lake and those things. At least I didn't see.
I would think that the majority do Crater Lake, but I don't know if I think the majority do San Jacinto.
Yeah, but I suppose that kind of sounds logical.
Okay.
But-
So this next question is kind of weird. This is the way I wrote it. But anyway, the most commonly seen animal on the PCT is a rattlesnake, with 92% of hikers seeing a rattlesnake.
Yeah.
The next most common is a bear, with 73% seeing a
People
bear.
aren't counting deer or chipmunks.
No, they are. But after those,
That's what they are.
well, I think they are. But after those top two, the animal sightings got more interesting. The next three most commonly seen animals are owl, mountain goat, and elk. Can you put those three in order of the most common to least common?
Okay. But
So
I
you have-
stand
The question
by
is-
my...
Owl,
Who's-
mountain goat, and elk.
Missing the deer attacking their tent and the whistle pigs posing on every other rock.
Which are marmots. And the endless squirrels and chipmunks.
I mean,
And the lizards.
yeah, you can't walk 10 feet, it seems.
In California, lizards everywhere until you
Yeah.
no longer notice
So
them.
they probably didn't
And
include those because they thought they were too boring or
we
common.
hit sections with frogs that kept us from walking.
Yeah, like you had to watch where you're stepping.
And I saw a shocking number of fish. And birds. So many birds. Okay.
Even
So I
some
have
that say they're
owl,
food.
mountain goat, and elk.
Yeah. And you gotta do most commonly seen and
Okay.
least commonly seen.
We didn't see any owls. We saw one elk,
But did we hear owls?
probably.
But I guess that's not seen.
And we saw mountain goats twice. And we know the mountain goats near that place. Well, one, you walk through Goat Rocks, which you would think you'd see them. And then that other place where we were, which I've totally
we saw
forgotten.
some near Hood. And
People
stuff.
said, and like in the app, people were saying that
Yeah.
like the deer, they come right into your camp. So I'm saying the most popular is mountain goats. Elk or owls. Elk are very skittish, but there were those areas that was prime habitat, and owls can only be seen at night. But then a lot of people get up earlier and hike later than we do. I'm gonna say elk, owl, mountain goat, elk, owl.
Okay.
Okay.
Show that.
I'm actually gonna think it's different. I think we just had a bad luck on owls, and more people see owls. I'm gonna say owls is the most common one. Then I suppose I'm gonna do mountain goat, elk, because elk are so they are a lot of vanishing tricks.
So I didn't actually think either of you guys would get that on, but Jerica did mountain goat, elk, owl. And it's
Yes.
46% see mountain goats, 44% see elk, and 43% see owls. And now you guys are tied at 9 points again. Okay. What is the average number of days between resupplies?
Ooh. Okay, so I mean, I think we seem to, I don't know, at times resupply quite frequently, so like 3 days, but then again, we kind of didn't like carrying
We
lots of
didn't-
food.
We didn't have to carry food, so we
Oh, yeah,
definitely
that's
didn't.
true.
And
We
then
also had-
we wouldn't have to consider about shuttles. Or,
Easier places for us to do it
How far
because
to
the car could
town.
just meet us. So I think people probably did
But we
longer
skipped
carries than we
resorts.
averagely did. So I actually think I'm going to say 5 days is the average.
That was kind of what I was tending towards, especially since there's some big sections like in the Sierras, the Stehekin one in northern Washington. But there's a lot of kind of shorter ones too, because we did skip resorts. I'm gonna just go 4 days, slightly lower than Jakota.
So the answer was 5.05 days.
Yeah.
Right.
I did think 5 is a pretty common.
I didn't have it as a question, but they'd also ask what is the least favorite and favorite places to resupply. And the favorite was Bishop, which I can't remember where that is.
It's near the beginning, isn't it? Like, or maybe
It's
you're
in
San
California.
Antonio.
Yeah, it was
like-
Bishop, California, but I don't remember.
I think it's
I
definitely
thought it might have been one of
desert.
the ones near Mount Whitney, but I don't know.
Oh, really? I thought it was 200 or 300 miles in, maybe, but I don't know.
I
But it
don't
could
know.
have
I
been
would
back
say
farther.
Southern California is all I can.
And then the least favorite place was Hiker Towns. To me, isn't that surprising?
Really?
Well,
Well, because if you're resupplying there, they have that one little gas station with like no
yeah,
stores.
the resupply options might not
Well-
be that great. Getting the ride
And
there might
apparently
be
a lot of
tricky.
people think Hiker
I
Town
just
is
thought
really
the
sketchy.
ride would be super easy.
And then some people do seem to think, Hypertown is tricky. Apparently, we had a great time there, but some people.
Oh, I thought
It's
tons of
sketch.
people loved it. And
I've seen a
Hiker
lot
Town
of
was having a
posts
problem
about
with people
people
not
saying
wanting
it's
to
so
leave
sketchy.
or zeroing too long. Huh.
But I don't know.
I thought it was going to be somewhere expensive, like VDR, because they got
I
a
know. I
lot
was
of
wondering if it was gonna be like VVR or something. too.
dislike this year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. So for resupplying, most hikers send themselves resupply boxes. However, a few hikers, for various reasons, don't send themselves any boxes. Because you guys had support vehicles, obviously you didn't mail yourself any resupply boxes. What percentage of hikers don't send themselves any resupply boxes at all? And so your answers are
Any at all.
less than 1%, 1 to 3%, 3 to 5% or 5 to 7%
Huh. I mean,
that don't send themselves any boxes.
I knew the percentage was low. It's just lower than I expected. I expected
Oh,
10
no.
to 15, but
Because it's any, even if you send yourself 1 or 2, because if you research the trail, everyone says, I mean,
yeah.
there's
basically
just a
everybody
few
does it.
places where they say really hard to resupply here, hard to get a hitch, expensive.
Yep, I forget who's answering first though on this one.
Well, Dakota's winning, so you could go by that and make the winner answer
There
whichever's
was the
worse.
animal question. Was there one after the animal question?
There was number of days.
Oh,
Oh,
so
between
you
our
got that
supplies. And
right, but did you answer it?
Yeah, I answered first.
Oh, yeah, so you took 5, so I couldn't take 5. So, yeah, I guess it's my turn to go first.
I mean, you guys can
Okay.
take the same answer.
I thought about it. Probably should have just done it, but then I thought, well, maybe people aren't carrying food as many miles. Percent. It was under 1%, 1 to 3%.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the
5,
1 to
7.
3% because I think it's low, but not less than 1%.
I wanted whichever category had 4%.
So I guess that's 3 to 5%. I was just kind of weird. The correct answer is 0.3%. Don't send themselves any boxes.
0.
So I guess Jerica would get that for being closer.
Wow.
You guys are major minority in that one.
Yeah, we almost made the percent.
To say no one doesn't send themselves
Wow.
boxes.
Because even if they just send out the 1 or 2, yeah.
Okay. What was the average starting base weight? So for people who don't know what base weights are, that's the weight of your backpack without any food or water, so just the weight of your gear. And so yeah, what is the average starting base weight? Was it 13 to 15 pounds, 15 to 17 pounds, 17 to 19 pounds, or over 20 pounds? Well, I mean, those are kind of weird categories because they keep repeating the same numbers. But you can give me a couple pound range.
Okay, and I'm up first? Okay. I think most people actually start with, I'd say, kind of impressively low base weights. I mean, I think there's a few random people that, just grab whatever gear they have and they're trucking like 50 pounds or something. But I think most people seem to get surprisingly low base weights, but not too astronomical low. So I'm going to say 15 to 17.
Okay. I think that, like in all backpacking, there's the categories. There's the ultralighters, and then all the way up to those who just don't. And then I think a lot of people start with stuff they don't need and then lose it as they go along.
I mean, I guess
So I
that's
think, like
true.
us, they try to hit a certain one. I don't know that we did. I don't know if by the end if we did.
I think my scale kept
But-
telling me I did, but other scales kept saying I didn't, so I don't
I
know.
definitely left out gear. I hiked along, and I think that's pretty common. And there's some of those shakedown towns where you can get someone to look over your gear and you can weigh it. So I'm going to go slightly higher with the 17 to 19 because I think people are trying to get sub 20 and are either barely doing it, possibly even not.
So you said 15 to 17, you said 17 to 19?
Yep.
So the answer is 17.78. But I guess I would say Dakota's max was 17, her minimum was 17, so maybe Jerica, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe Jerica, I suppose.
Okay. So Jerica's pulling ahead at 11 points. And then I had one question left, but if you somehow tie, I can make another question. This question I thought was super surprising, but it sounds like Jerica had read about this. Over the course of the hike, did the base weight change at all? And did it go up or did it go down? And by how much? If you can try to guess.
So you're
Well-
supposed to start.
I think it went down. And
Are you taking into consideration that they might be throwing in winter gear that they weren't carrying earlier?
yeah,
Snow and rain. And
I still think most people's base weights go down because people start to realize what they don't need. And that
they also
weight's
have to
annoying.
eat more.
And they have to carry more food, so they toss out other stuff, like we did.
Yep, I also agree with that.
But how much does it go down? Because you're right, they're probably adding in gear. And then there's those who started so low they don't have any to lose. So I'm going to say down, but probably only like a pound.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
Well, then I win.
It goes down by about a pound. But I guess maybe I'll say they're better at it than you think. Down by a pound and a half.
Now anything over a pound and a half and you win.
I gotta pull back up my thing. So it went down and it went down to 14.91
Whoa.
pounds.
So lots
They
of
did
So
pounds.
over
good.
2 pounds.
Up to 3 pounds for some of them.
Technically that would have been Dakota.
But I
Yep.
still think that puts me at 10 and you at 11. So
No,
No,
I think
you're
it puts
both
us
at
at 11.
11.
So now we have
Oh.
to go to like final
I can
question.
find a, like,
Sudden death.
I didn't write any, but I can look at a tiebreaker really quick because there's other questions on here.
How many doggies do that trail?
Very, very few.
So there's all these ones about like starting and ending with the same people and stuff like that. So,
Starting and ending with the same people.
Yep, I imagine.
Yeah,
not
okay.
many end with the same.
So
Yeah.
there's that. I think the way they phrase it is, if you began your hike with someone else, did you remain with this person for the entirety of the trail? So yes, I'll go with. I mean, there's a bunch of different categories of their answers, but like, how many said yes? What percentage
So,
said yes? They did the
this
entire
is
trail with the same person.
An interesting question, because do they mean like friends or people you meet up at the monument, or they mean legitly like me and you planned it? And
I
then
think they mean plan to like start together.
okay. And then so I'm thinking this must be a lot of husbands and wives.
Okay, actually, there was one of their
But-
categories is no, this was never the plan, but 13%.
Okay,
So 13% said they started together. They didn't end together, but they never planned to
Planned
end
it.
together.
So that's just people
So
you
then,
meet
out of the
up
ones
with.
who planned to start and
Planned
end
to
together,
start. So, like,
how many
Any
actually
other
did it?
siblings, because I mean they're both the twins. There's a lot of spouses who do it. But
The other
if
good
one
thing
person
is,
gets injured or gets
there is
discouraged, they often just let the one person quit.
there is a
Yeah.
percentage to this. A certain percentage of people answered that they started together as a couple and they broke up before the end, so they didn't finish together.
There
So,
you go.
that's great.
Okay. So let me. Do the majority stay
I mean,
together?
I'm trying to answer this one first because
Okay.
I think the majority don't stick together. I think they'll either just decide that they're fine with hiking at different speeds and maybe they'll meet up every now and then, or things like one of them, gives up or gets injured or something, and then the other keeps hiking. So I think more people who start together don't finish together.
Your,
That's
your
just a
first
percentage.
You wanna
reason
do-
is why the couples break up.
Do you want to do a specific percentage?
I think due to people just maybe they hike at a different speed or I want to get up earlier or hike later or something, that they'll frequently split up and maybe with a plan of meeting up later here and there and stuff. And then I think some people might get injured or some people might just decide to quit while their partner decides to keep going. So I think more people who start together end separately. And it might sound a little high, but I'm willing to say 70% don't end together. So only 30% who start together end together.
Okay. I agree that the majority probably don't stay together. I think just due to the failure rate. I mean, the majority of people don't make it at all. So then I think that only the stronger out of the pairing will often make it. And then I think even with me and Jakota, we seriously considered the likelihood that we wouldn't stick together. But I don't think it's quite as high as Jakota because I think there's chances that they don't finish at all. Like, one will drop out and then the other one will drop out, or they'll both drop out together. Because sometimes if the person you're with quits, then that really is discouraging or domino effect, and then...
I guess I was considering that, somebody drops out in Sierra, somebody drops out at Oregon. They didn't finish together. I mean,
Right.
they didn't finish, but they didn't finish together either.
Right. So I think, though, that... I think one dropping decreases both of the likelihood of both of them getting there, anyone getting there.
Yeah,
so
but I'm still saying if...
it has to be who succeeded. So I think if your
I don't
partner
think...
stays with you,
You can keep
you'll
going
both
with it.
make.
I
But
don't...
if one drops, you'll both drop, so then you won't be in the statistics.
But I disagree with that. I say if you both drop, you're still in the statistics as not finishing together.
Oh,
Because
because
you
you
finished
didn't
where you
finish
stopped.
at all?
Yeah, you finished where you stopped.
Oh, it
so you
depends on
didn't-
how they translate it. If you don't finish the trail, I don't think you should be in this statistic.
And I would be fine with putting them in the statistic.
Well,
So, that's a whole nother question.
I'm still going to go with my interpretation of it. So for that reason, I think it's slightly closer, because I think hiking with someone is a slight advantage, and I think some will stick it out because the person's with them, so they would have quit otherwise. So I'm going to say, you said 70?
Yep, and I'm tempted to dump it up to 75.
I think 60% who start... Wait.
Yeah, 60% start together, don't finish together.
Okay. Did
Right.
you have your answer,
I'm
Jerica?
confused now. Okay, 60% who start together don't finish, 40% do.
60%
So
start.
40%, if they start together, they'll make it.
And Dakota
And
said
60%,
I said
somebody drops
so-
out.
70 don't, so 30% do.
Yeah.
30%, 40%. Okay. So then now we're ripping off Gordon Ramsay. Well, here announces the winners of the show, as he always has you both stand behind a closed door. One's
Then you
locked,
lift
one's
it.
not, and you lift it.
So
And you see, so under one of these, there's a banana for you to eat.
why is it looking yellow, which means
Who won?
banana? I have a feeling I've just lost this.
Shall we see? Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Gotta have a
Do
banana.
the banana
There was
opposite matching.
61.1% finished together.
So, now there's the banana eating way. So,
Do you bite the end or the middle?
yeah, I was gonna say, it's amazing. Most people eat a banana from the end, but this hand has the terrible bit. This has all of this, so you clearly bite from the middle.
Not how I would do it. But go for it, loser.
Is it super bitter?
I'm surprised you bit that so easily.
No, it's actually like,
Good.
I mean, you could almost eat this. You wouldn't. I mean, it's almost flavorless. It's not
Oh.
like terrible. Well, I'm not gonna eat it.
Yeah, I don't think so.